Feels like every day there's some new AI thing blowing up the internet, right?
It really is a whirlwind.
Yeah, exciting stuff, of course, but I don't know about you, but it's hard to keep up with it all.
I totally agree. I mean, how can anyone be expected to read every article and track every new development?
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
want to stay in the loop, but who has the time?
Right.
Well, that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive, right? We've gone through a ton of recent articles, like from places like TechCrunch, AI News, even Google's own AI blog.
Trying to sift through it all and
Yeah, to pull out like the most important takeaways, the stuff that really matters.
absolutely.
So think of this as your shortcut to understanding like what's really going on in AI right now.
Yeah, the big picture.
The pulse of AI, if you will.
I like that.
So we're going to cover a bunch of stuff like the brand new AI models that are coming out, which are really like the brains behind all this.
Vengeance.
Yeah, the engines, exactly. And then, of course, all the big money flowing into this space, the investments, the huge deals being made, but also the conversations happening around, how to make sure AI is used ethically and safely. That's a big one.
Crucial conversations.
Yeah, for sure. And then finally, we'll look at how all this AI is actually being used, across all these different industries.
Seeing it in action.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So let's just jump right in. I think a good place to start is with the models themselves.
The models themselves.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, like the variety and how quickly these things are evolving.
It really is. I mean, we're seeing breakthroughs in all sorts of areas and at, all different price points.
Yeah.
OpenAI, for example, they've just released this model called O1 Pro,
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
which they're touting as their most expensive model yet.
Wow.
So that's really interesting, right? Like, what does that tell us about, where AI is going, that there's this demand for even more powerful, even more expensive models?
It makes you wonder what kind of tasks or problems are so complex that they need this level of AI power,
Exactly. Like, who's using these things and what are they doing with them?
Yeah, good questions.
And then you have Baidu, they're releasing their Ernie 4.5 and Ernie X1.
Right.
And it seems like they're really trying to undercut some of the other existing models on price.
Oh, interesting. So like a price war, kind of.
It's starting to feel like that, yeah. Which, could be a good thing in the long run, right? More competition, more affordable AI.
Yeah.
And, they're competing directly with models like DeepSeek, so it's a pretty dynamic landscape right now.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's trying to get a piece of the AI pie.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you have Google. They just launched Gemma 3, right?
That's right.
Which is
Yeah.
their newest open AI model.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this whole open AI movement, it's pretty important, isn't it? It allows for more collaboration and experimentation, which is good for everyone, right?
Absolutely. The more people can access and work with these models, the faster we'll see progress and innovation.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just about, generating text or code anymore.
Right.
Like Stability AI, they have this new model that can turn a photo into a 3D scene.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that one.
It's pretty wild, right? Like imagine the possibilities for things like virtual reality, making those experiences even more immersive.
Yeah. Or even just thinking about how we experience memories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like taking a simple photo and turning it into a whole 3D world. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is, it is. And then you have NVIDIA, right? They're all over the place, but they just unveiled this thing called Groot N1.
I saw that, Groot N1, right?
Yeah, which is a foundation model specifically designed for humanoid robots.
So that's getting into some really interesting territory, like AI actually having a physical presence in the world.
Yeah, and not just like clunky robots,
Yeah.
but humanoid robots.
Right. Like they're partnering with Disney to create more engaging robots, so it seems like the goal is to make these robots more, I don't know, personable, more interactive.
Yeah, like something out of a movie almost.
It really does feel that way.
And then you have Anthropic, who seems to be really making a push into these more traditional industries.
Mm-hmm.
Like their AI models are being used by the Commonwealth Bank of Australia for banking.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
And then they launched this Anthropic AI for Enterprises thing. So they're clearly trying to target businesses with practical AI solutions.
So it's not just about research anymore. It's about actually implementing these things in the real world.
Exactly. It's about solving real problems.
Exactly.
But, with all this rapid development happening, it's kind of fascinating to hear what some of the researchers themselves are saying.
Oh, right. What's that?
So Noam Brown, who's a research lead at OpenAI, he said that some of the AI reasoning capabilities we're seeing now, like this stuff that's blowing everyone's minds, he's saying we could have had that decades ago.
Oh, wow. That's a bold statement.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes you think about, what took so long.
Yeah, like were there missed opportunities or was it just like the right combination of technology finally coming together?
Yeah, good point. It's probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
So speaking of technology coming together, let's talk money.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there is a lot of money pouring into AI right now.
Oh, yeah. A lot of money.
Like SoftBank, they're planning to acquire this company called Ampere, which designs semiconductors for $6.5 billion.
Wow. That's a huge bet on AI hardware.
Right. I mean, that's not chump change. It tells you how much they believe in the future of AI.
Definitely. They're anticipating massive demand for the kind of specialized hardware needed to run these increasingly complex AI models.
Yeah. And it's not just the big players either. You have startups like FinTech ClearGrid.
Mm-hmm.
They just raised $10 million to develop AI for debt collection, of all
Debt
things.
collection, huh?
Yeah. It's kind of a reminder of how, AI is finding its way into all sorts of areas, even the ones you might not expect.
Right. Like AI is no longer this futuristic thing. It's becoming part of the fabric of our everyday lives.
Exactly. And then you have reports that NVIDIA is thinking about buying this synthetic data startup called Gretel.
Interesting. Synthetic data, huh? So that's basically like creating artificial data to train AI models.
Yeah, exactly. Which can be super helpful, for things like dealing with privacy concerns or filling in gaps in real-world data.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And you can't have powerful AI without good data to train it on.
Exactly. And it's not just about acquiring companies either. Like Datamin, which is an analytics company, they just raised $85 million to grow their business.
That's a good chunk of change.
Yeah. It shows that there's a lot of demand for AI-driven insights, being able to make sense of all this data we're generating.
Absolutely. Businesses are realizing that they need AI to stay competitive.
And it's not just for, super complex stuff either. Like present, they just got $20 million for their AI-powered slide deck software.
Slide decks? Really?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like AI is being integrated into almost every type of software these days.
It's true. Like, remember that quote from the AngelList CEO, Avlok Kohli? He said, every software company is an AI company now.
Yeah. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
It does.
So with all this power and money flowing into AI, it's more important than ever to have these conversations about, ethics and safety and all that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, how do we make sure this technology is used for good?
Exactly. And we've seen some headlines lately that really highlight this.
Oh, right. Like what?
Well, there was that privacy complaint filed against ChatGPT because it allegedly generated some defamatory content about someone.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty serious accusation.
Yeah. It raises some big questions about, the accuracy and accountability of these AI systems, especially as they become more powerful and more widely used.
And then there's the whole issue of people treating these AI tools like, the ultimate source of truth.
Oh, right.
Like people on X, they're using Grok as a fact checker, which is pretty worrying because it could lead to the spread of misinformation.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, just because an AI says something doesn't mean it's true.
Exactly.
And this is where, having some kind of regulation or guidelines becomes really important.
Yeah, definitely. Like, how do we create guardrails to ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly?
Exactly. And are people thinking about this already? There's this AI group co-led by Fei Lai, and they're arguing that AI safety laws should be more proactive, anticipating future risks rather than just reacting to problems after they happen.
That makes a lot of sense. Like, AI is evolving so fast, we need to be thinking ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not just researchers and ethicists who are calling for more action. Yeah, like both OpenAI and Google, they've come out and said that the U.S. government needs to do more to ensure that America stays at the forefront of AI development.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. It shows that even these big tech companies recognize that there's a role for government in shaping the future of AI.
It's a complex issue for sure. Like, how do you encourage innovation while also making sure it's done safely and responsibly?
Exactly.
It's a balance. And, with all the unknowns surrounding AI, it's probably wise to approach it with a healthy dose of caution, like remembering that we don't know everything yet.
Yeah, for sure. Excitement is great,
Yeah,
but we need to be realistic too.
exactly.
So let's shift gears a bit and talk about how all this AI is actually being used, out in the real world.
Okay, yeah, let's see it in action.
Because there are some really interesting things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the transportation sector, you have GM, Gatik, and Torque. They're all teaming up with NVIDIA to develop self-driving technology.
Self-driving cars, that's the big one, right?
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And they're putting some serious resources behind it.
Yeah, and it's not just about cars either.
Oh, right. What else?
So GM is also working with NVIDIA to bring AI into their factories and robots
Yeah.
to automate more of those processes.
So AI is changing how things are made, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see that this stuff has been in the works for a while.
Mm.
Like apparently an AI model from over a decade ago was one of the things that initially got NVIDIA interested in autonomous vehicles.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So the seeds were planted a long time ago.
Yeah. And it just goes to show that, sometimes it takes a while for technology to catch up with the vision.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And AI isn't just changing these big industries either. It's also affecting our personal lives, in smaller but still significant ways.
Right.
Like Hugging Face, they have this new iOS app that uses AI to describe what you're looking at.
Oh, wow. So like for people with visual impairments.
Yeah, or even just for anyone who wants to know more about what they're seeing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really tangible example of how AI can make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah, definitely. And in the world of robotics, you have Terra AI. They just came out of stealth mode with $7.8 million in funding for visual navigation for robots.
So robots that can see better, basically.
Yeah, which is pretty crucial if you want them to be able to move around and interact with the world autonomously.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then you have this whole rise of AI agents, like virtual assistants, but way more powerful.
AI agents.
Yeah. So ServiceNow is using them to streamline enterprise workflows, and Cisco has a whole portfolio of agentic AI tools for customer service.
So basically, AI is becoming the new workforce.
In a way, yeah.
It's a little unnerving, but also kind of exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag.
Mhm.
And we're seeing AI being used for some pretty ambitious projects, too, like Quant and Huawei. They're working together in Saudi Arabia to use AI to create, like, dream properties.
Dream properties, what does that even mean?
I don't know exactly, but it sounds pretty futuristic, like using AI to design and build the perfect home or something.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And, in healthcare, there's this company, Deepgram, and they have this AI speech model called Nova 3 Medical, which is apparently really good at transcribing medical records.
Oh, wow. So like reducing errors and stuff?
Exactly, which is obviously super important in healthcare where accuracy is crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like these AI agents are going to be a big deal for small businesses, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about how they could help small, medium-sized businesses in the UK, level the playing field a bit and give them access to tools that were previously only available to big companies.
That's a good point. Like democratizing access to AI could be really beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. So as we've gone through all these stories, one company that keeps popping up is NVIDIA.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss them.
It is.
They're involved in acquisitions, like with Gretel. They're partnering with companies in the autonomous vehicle space. They're working with Disney on robots.
Right.
They're developing new technologies like Dynamo, which is for running AI models more efficiently.
And they're even building their own foundation models like Groot N1.
Yeah. It seems like they're trying to be a major player in pretty much every aspect of the AI ecosystem.
It's an interesting strategy, that's for sure.
It is. It is. And then you have Google, another tech giant, but they seem to be taking a slightly different approach.
Oh, yeah. What are they up to?
Well, they're really emphasizing responsible AI development, making sure that these technologies are used ethically and safely.
That's important.
Yeah. And they're investing heavily in their Gemini ecosystem, which is basically their way of bringing all their different AI models and products together under one roof.
So like a unified AI platform.
Exactly. And they're also really focused on using AI to tackle big global challenges, like in healthcare and science.
That's a good goal for sure.
It is. So it's interesting to see these different approaches, NVIDIA kind of going all in on everything and Google focusing on responsible AI and building this comprehensive platform.
Yeah, different strategies, different strengths.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive, the key takeaway here is that AI is evolving at an incredibly fast pace.
It really is.
There's a lot of money being invested, a lot of exciting developments happening, but also some important ethical and societal questions that we need to address.
Absolutely. It's not all sunshine and roses.
Yeah, exactly. So for you, the listener, thinking about all this, what do you see as the biggest opportunity or the biggest challenge presented by AI in the coming years? It's a question worth considering for sure.
It is. And as AI continues to evolve and become more integrated into our lives, it's important to stay informed and engaged.
Yeah, definitely. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one developing the next big AI breakthrough.
Maybe the future is full of possibilities.
It is, it is.